Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Peralivas, and that rhymes with For All of Us, and I'm the People's Party candidate for the Guelph riding for the October federal election. I hope you vote for me. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about the People's Party plank on immigration. And to introduce it, here's the leader of the People's Party, Maxime Bernier, tweeting, quote, "Our immigration policy can benefit Canadians only if we welcome the right kind of immigrants. It should prioritize our economic interests and be calibrated in a way that does not jeopardize our values and the maintenance of our national identity." And here's the policy. I'm going to be very brief on this video because I think this policy is very important. It's starkly different than every other policy in Canada. This is the only party that's talking about a reduction in immigration, period. Here it is. Issue. The primary aim of Canada's immigration policy should be to economically benefit Canadians and Canada as a whole. It should not be used to forcibly change the cultural character and social fabric of our country. And it should not put excessive financial burdens on the shoulders of Canadians in the pursuit of humanitarian goals. Despite Canada already accepting more immigrants than almost any other country, both the Liberals and Conservatives support an unsustainable increase in the annual immigration intake and are using mass immigration as a political tool to buy votes among immigrant communities. Facts. Right now, only 26% of all the immigrants and refugees who come to Canada every year are directly chosen because they have the right qualifications and work experience to fulfill our economic needs. The rest are dependents, spouses, and children, come through the family reunification program, or as refugees do not work or do not have the skills that we need even if they find work. Immigrants generally have lower wages than non-immigrants. They pay on average about half as much in income taxes and other Canadians, but absorb nearly the same value of government services. A study puts the cost to taxpayers in 2014 at roughly $5,300 per immigrant living in Canada, for a total annual cost of somewhere between $27 and $35 billion. Demographic studies have shown that newcomers are a bit younger on average than Canadians, but not enough to have a noticeable impact on the rate of aging. The Liberal government has made matters worse by increasing the number of parents and grandparents accepted under the family reunification program. Mass immigration also inflates housing prices. More than 41% of all immigrants to Canada settle in and around Toronto and Vancouver, which have some of the least affordable housing among big cities in the world. Our plan. Our immigration policy can benefit Canadians only if we welcome the right kind of immigrants. It should prioritize Canada's economic interests and be calibrated in a way that does not jeopardize Canadian values and the maintenance of our national identity. A People's Party government will substantially lower the total number of immigrants and refugees Canada accepts every year from 350,000 to between 100,000 and 150,000, depending on economic and other circumstances. Reform the immigration point system and the related programs to accept a larger proportion of economic immigrants with the right skills. Accept fewer resettled refugees. See refugee policy coming up. And limit the number of immigrants accepted under the family reunification program, including abolishing the program for parents and grandparents. Limit the number of temporary foreign workers and make sure they fulfill temporary positions and do not compete unfairly with Canadian workers. Change the law to make birth tourism illegal. Ensure that every candidate for immigration undergoes a face-to-face interview and answers a series of specific questions to assess the extent to which they align with Canadian values and societal norms. See multiculturalism policy coming up. Increase resources for CSIS and the RCMP and Canadian Immigration and Citizenship to do interviews and thorough background checks on all classes of immigrant. To me, these policies make sense across the board. We're facing some very, very difficult challenges that are currently being ignored by governments in the United Kingdom and France and all across Europe. I don't want what's happening there to come here. And watching what's happening in Toronto, the 17 people shot over the weekend, this past weekend, well, that's a big departure. And cracking down on legal gun owners isn't going to fix that. And having the conversation, speaking about the fact that mass migration, mass immigration has been delivering very dangerous people to Canada. Having that conversation is important, and making sure that the resources and the law enforcement are aware that this is happening and are able to act on it in an intelligent way to keep us safe makes sense. And Mr. Bernier and the People's Party of Canada is the only party that is actually talking about this stuff. Thank you for watching. My name is Mark Peralivas. That rhymes with For All of Us. I'm the People's Party candidate for the Guelph riding for the October federal election. I hope you vote for me. Thanks for watching tonight.